Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's happening, everybody? Man, well, another day, in the world of positivity and recovery. What's going on, man? Well, you know how I like to always get my video podcast started, always with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. So if you would please, a moment of silence. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Alrighty. Well, man, it's going okay, I guess. My day has been a little bit of a struggle, but nonetheless, I have kept positive boundaries all day today, a bunch of positive thinking, and in turn there, man, I'm another day sober, right? So yeah, so earlier this morning, about 10, no, probably about 11:15 or so, I decided that I was going to go take in a meeting, an NA meeting over at in San Antonio, Texas, over on the southeast or the east end of town. And I first time I ever gone to this meeting, so I figured I was going to go, and it's not very far from the facility where I'm at. So I figured, well, you know what, I'm going to take a walk over there, even though it was pretty chilly, about 28 degrees outside when I went. But I figured, well, I'm going to take that positive time to I'll put my headset on, reflect on some meditation as I'm walking over there, and I can get my exercise in, a little bit of meditation, and then hit the meeting, right? So, all positive things, you know what I mean? So it was good. It was good. So I decided that I was going to do, that's how I was going to start my day off. And so that's what I did. And, getting over there, it was I guess I had to, you know what I mean? There's just certain things that I'm doing this time around in my recovery that I have to do things on the positive note, and things that I'm not familiar or things that I'm not used to doing. So, and taking in a meeting that I have no idea where it's at, or I don't know anyone there, is one of the things that I decided that I was going to have to do. And I want to attend different types of meetings because it allows me to get different perspectives from different views of different addictions and different struggles in people, that maybe I can get and grab things from other people, a little nugget here and a little nugget there, so that when I do my video podcast, I got a little bit more things to throw at you as these golden nuggets that you can pick up on, and perhaps it would get you through your day or through your struggle, or give you a little motivation to do some service work and that sort of thing. So I decided that I was going to go do that, and so I did. And it turned out to be a pretty decent meeting. I mean, it reminded me of doing things in having to replace something to take away an edge of how I was feeling, or through life throws at you these certain things, and sometimes you have no control over them. You know what I mean? And but you don't have control of the actual thing that's happening, but you do have control of where you put yourself, where you situate yourself during that process. And before, personally, when I was in my addiction and anything came up that life threw at me, I wasn't positioning myself nowhere. I was just taking it. I was letting the tidal wave hit me with whatever life brought, and I already knew what I was going to do if that happens. And for me, that's using. I figured, whatever tidal wave comes and hits me, as soon as I can get some breath, I know where I'm going. I'm going to go straight and pick up that bolo and, cover my feelings up with whatever just freaking, come and hit me in the face with, with the wave of life. And so I am grateful that today today present where we're at now, or where I'm at now in my recovery, that I have the wisdom to know the difference of where to maneuver when that happens. And I had a little bit of a situation the day before, where I kind of let somebody get under my skin a little bit, and I have no control over what somebody else thinks, what else somebody else feels, or what's going on in their particular bubble. You know what I mean? So when I went and calmly asked somebody for a favor, in a sense, it was something really, it was something real minor, and this guy jumped at me. You know what I mean? He was going through an issue in his own little world, and decided that he was going to take it out on me because I interrupted him. And initially I felt kind of hurt in a sense initially, because I wasn't expecting that reaction. And then it was like a few seconds of hurt, and then boom, full on just outrage. I was pissed then. But I was able to recognize my feelings, and I decided that I was going to, I apologized, and then I walked off. I went and picked up my book, my some literature, and I decided to start reading. And so while I was reading, I just engaged myself in the reading, and then next thing you know, an hour and a half went by, and then my mindset's a little different. You know what I mean? I totally just, understood that I got no control over what's happening over there in that area. So what I'm going to do, I got control over what's happening right here in my space. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed myself some positivity so that I can deflect that negativity that just came at me. And that's exactly what I did in the form of reading a few pages of the NA book. And so when that happened, I got ready after that. A little while after that, I got something to eat. Then I got ready for bed and yada, 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 right? So when I woke up this morning, I was still thinking about it. You know what I mean? It still lingered on me. And as soon as, when I wake up, as soon as I wake up, to the left of me, I got this big old cross drawn up with the freaking Serenity prayer in big old letters. So, this thing's like freaking 5 foot, wide and about 6-7 foot high. It's a big old freaking piece of artwork, right? So I decided, when I woke up, as soon as I woke up, that's exactly the first thing that I see. So I recite the Serenity prayer, then I start doing my meditation, and that's when after the meditation, I did a little bit of exercising, and then decided, you know what, it's still, I'm up early, I'm going to go hit this meeting. And I've never been to that meeting, and I've wanted to go here in the last few weeks. I just never made time for it. But today I figured, you know what, I'm going to go do that and get rid of this lingering thing that's bothering me. And I did. I went to that meeting, and the topic of the meeting that this morning just happened to be, in that retrospect where, you can't control what's happening somewhere, but those meetings and those programs allow you to reflect and get that stuff off and leave it there, and you can walk out of there another person. You know what I mean? Mentally. And I did. You know what I mean? I got out of there feeling pretty good because I wasn't the only one. You know what I mean? I wasn't the only one going through a situation like that. There was like 4 or 5 other people who shared, and they too had a situation. And because of the program, they were able to recognize, just like myself, and move on and past it, and get to a meeting and start. And you're a new person after you leave there. You know what I mean? So it's a good practice, and I'm just grateful that I was able to have something like that to deal with those. With those kind of feelings when they come up, and those types of situations that life just brings at you, and you got no control over that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just like wasted energy if I put my energy forth in dealing with that situation that I can't control what that dude's feeling or what he's going through. So why am I going to let it get to me? You know what I mean? So, I humbly just ask for the patience, ask for the wisdom to maneuver my life somewhere. And, my higher power, he responds, you know what I mean? He responds and gives me the wisdom to know what to do next. And I'm grateful for that. You know what I mean? So it was cool. You know what I mean? To me, it's really cool to actually be able to do something like that, because if I was in the world of addiction still and in that dark area, there's no way that would have happened. You know what I mean? I would have either came unglued, confronted, did something stupid, or altogether just said, you know what, fuck this. Like, where's my bolo? Let me hit it. And I'm going to stay here and stay stuck the whole day, lingering on about that stupid feeling while I'm hitting that bowl. You know what I mean? And that's where I don't want to be, because I know then there you go. I got a whole day wasted, and who knows? Who knows what happens after I'm all lit up or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm just glad that I had the wisdom to know the difference and to know where to go and what to do in a situation like that, because that was just a minor situation. You know what I mean? I'm just grateful that I'm able to even recognize the minor stuff, and and hopefully when something major comes up, then I have that same type of mentality. And I know that a few guys that were shared in the meeting had gone through a couple of hard adversities, and because of the program and the 12-step program, the NA program, and that sort of thing, and their spirituality and their higher power and that sort of stuff, they were able to also have the wisdom to navigate their life in the right way. Even that their adversities were like way worse than mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful to all those people who shared, because they gave me a little bit more wisdom on how to explain things in the podcast and that sort of thing. So great, kudos to them. And there was even a couple of guys from out of state, which was really cool. And that they found that little meeting also, and they're from I forgot where they were from, but I know they were from up north somewhere, I believe, or yeah, I don't remember where they're from, but really cool people, and they had some adversities that we're going through also, and which were pretty major. You know what I mean? Mine was nothing compared to what they were going through, and but nonetheless, we all had that same mentality, and we all had that same cushion that we could fall back on. That's the cool thing. You know what I mean? So that's the unity of someone going through something, and because you're both in that same ship, in a sense, you can both help each other in your stories and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm grateful that I was able to hear those stories and share mine. But yeah, so I think that when you have that support in a group setting, it's great. It's helpful. For those of you who are new to the program, or new to any 12-step program, or AA, NA, whatever it is that you're involved in, I recommend you to reach out. You know what I mean? Stay connected and talk to people, because we can only move forward by giving away what we got. You know what I mean? And that's how one addict helps another. That's how that whole unity program works, is that because if you stay there silent and don't do anything, then guess what? Nothing happens. You know what I mean? If you just stay there stagnant and you're not saying nothing, you're doing nothing, then you're just there. You know what I mean? And you're not helping you, and you're not helping nobody else. So at one point in time in your journey of recovery, you're going to have to do exactly that. You're going to have to lower your shields down, and you're going to have to open yourself up, man, and be honest, willing, and hopeful that you can move on and be at peace and ask your higher power to help you do that, and to, you're at one point in time and during any process of recovery, you're going to have to be able to speak it out, let it go, and share it, and be open about it, be willing, be honest about what you're doing, because if you have any just one stint of hold there, then you're not giving it 100%. Well, then you know what? Half measures avail us hardly anything. You're going to get exactly what you put into it. Now, if you're only going in it halfway, then guess what? You're only going to get halfway recovered, my brothers and sisters, and you're not going to be able to, feel the full effect of sobriety and recovery and that miracle to happen for you. You know what I mean? And and just know that you can't do it all alone. We're prideful people, man. I get it. We don't want nobody telling us what to do, and we don't want nobody in our business and that sort of thing. But you know what? Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to be vulnerable and let somebody in your business a little bit. You know what I mean? You're going to have to do that, because so long you keep that stuff to yourself, man, it's going to keep you bound down to the shackles of the addiction, of the sadness, of the depression, of the anger, of the PTSDs, of the of the childhood traumatic experience. It's going to keep you bound down to that. So just know that you're going to have to open up at some point and speak and share, and whether it's just a one-on-one with somebody that somebody that you feel comfortable talking, or just one-on-one with God, you know what I mean? One-on-one with your higher power, and just, journaling down what it is that you're needing, what it is that is affecting you mentally and spiritually. And, when you do that, I guarantee you'll find that things start getting a little bit easier. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen all in one swell swoop. It happens a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit, because this is something that it's not a one-time thing. This is something that you're going to have to incorporate into your life and make it part of your lifestyle, so that you can repetitively do it. And when you keep doing things on the repetitive basis, that is the only way that you can change your mentality and change the actions that come out of what you think and speak. So, nobody ever gets to that high point by just doing something one time. That don't happen. This is something that's going to be a repetitive basis, because the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more you do it, those actions start becoming second nature to you, and you just want to help somebody. Bam, bam, bam. And then you pick up things. You know what I mean? When the blinders are off, you can see the whole freaking thing. Now you can start letting things in. And man, you'll be amazed at how your life starts transforming when you do that, because, man, for a long time I had those blinders on and I didn't want to hear shit from anybody. I didn't care how many years you had sober or anything like that. Your problems don't measure up to mine. And there's no way that you can do that whatever you went through is going to help me. There's just no way. And that's because I wasn't open-minded, and I wasn't willing to listen to anybody. I wasn't teachable at that particular point in time. But I had to do that. I had to be willing. I had to be open. I had to be truthful and honest with myself and where I wanted to go with my life. And when I got the help from somebody else when I got the help from other people and different programs, and just allowed myself to be teachable and allowed myself to go through that, conviction, and go through that empathetic feeling, and go through that, feeling of pridefulness, where I had to just give that up for a minute. You know what I mean? It's not easy to do, but you can do it. And, I find my life a whole lot easier today than when I was in the addiction. And the addiction, man, I was on the freaking... I always was tensed up. I was always stressed out. I was always in this, mad mode, in this aggressive mode. Always, everything was always, I can't let nobody see any weakness, and I got to do my thing, and I got to watch out. I got to watch my back the whole freaking time out there. And when you're watching your back the whole time that you're out there in the streets and in the addiction, you're stressed out the whole time. You're tensed up the whole time, and that's unhealthy. You know what I mean? It's unhealthy, big time. and you don't have any time for anything else, or you're just stuck in that one little tunnel where it's just everything's dark, and you're just ready. You're just in fight mode. You know what I mean? And you don't let nobody in. Because you're doing that, you don't have no time. Your mentality is not thinking, hey, dude, all you got to do is move over one step so you can get into the light. You don't have to stay in that darkness. But you're so busy right here and then all this stuff that you can't even see that. You know what I mean? You can't even see that you don't even have any shackles on your feet. You can move wherever the hell you want. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but anyway, at this time, I'd like for you guys to, I'd like to thank you for listening to my podcast and tuning in and, being a subscriber. And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. All you got to do is tap the button. It doesn't cost you a thing. Once you just tap that subscribe button, that's all you got to do. It don't cost you nothing. It's just that simple. Just by tapping that little red subscribe button, bam. And just know that when you tap that subscribe button, you are helping another veteran like myself, another person dealing with PTSDs like myself, another person dealing with anger like myself, another person dealing with depression like myself, another person dealing with childhood traumatic experiences like myself, another person dealing with drug addiction like myself. And this is the only way that I can get the channel to be spread, where I can spread the message and do my due diligence by giving away what has helped me along the way to get to where I'm at today, sober and clean in this world of positivity and recovery. So, I really appreciate you guys listening to this episode of When the Smoke Clears. I guess until the next time on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.